Hello and welcome to Elland Road ahead of a huge Premier League match. West Ham United, the visitors, and we have a huge lineup in the studio. Former Leeds United #1 Nigel, Martyn and Jermaine Beckford are with us. How are we doing, gents?
Fantastic. Very good.
Yeah, really we know it's a big game, Nigel. You've been shopping for the occasion, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I got taken along to MacArthur Glen today and got a new shirt, as you can see.
Okay, well, thoughts on the shirt from everybody. Get in touch with us here on Matchday Live. I'm sure James May would love it. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, big game ahead tonight, guys, isn't it? Becks, I mean, Friday night, all the ingredients are there for this one, but, you know, 3 points at stake, and it's a huge 3 points, isn't it?
Oh, massive. Listen, like you said there, Friday night football, I've always loved it. Playing here underneath the lights, the atmosphere just feels a little bit more intense. It feels like energetic. It feels like this is where we're meant to be playing. You know, the night matches have always been my favourite. After the last couple of games, obviously we need a reaction. We need to bounce back. We've created chances in those games. We've not taken those chances, those opportunities, and we're coming up today against a team who have been in the past very sluggish, quite slow in the build-up, and you know they've had to change managers. They got a new guy in who, in my opinion, is a very good manager. But I'm hoping that it will be a little bit too early for him to make any real impact on this West Ham side.
Yeah, I think probably realises the job he's got ahead of him, hasn't he, after the first few matches. Nigel, how do you sort of look ahead to tonight's game with all the ingredients in the mix? Our defeat at Burnley, we've performed well, not got the points we've deserved, and West Ham are desperate to get their season going.
We have performed, you know, a draw and a loss, but the performance was there. So if we can guarantee that performance again tonight, I think a struggling West Ham team.
Is it kind of it hypes up a little bit of the pressure, doesn't it, on tonight?
Yeah, it does. It does a little bit. But like Nigel said there, the performance was brilliant. The performances throughout the whole season, with exception to the Arsenal game, have been really, really good, really positive. We dominate possession, we're running more than the opposition, we're creating more opportunities, chances, regardless of who we're up against. So as long as we're able to continue along that path and continue making those chances and continue getting the ball in the right areas and continue putting immense pressure on the opposition, regardless of if it's West Ham or whoever comes next, that's the most important thing to me. And the goals will come. It's so frustrating. Myself being a number 9 as well, the amount of chances we create, I would be chomping at the bit and I'll be screaming at all the boys, keep on giving me the ball, keep putting the ball in the 18-yard box, keep me in the game, because as a striker, you thrive on that, the food, and the food ultimately is the balls in the box, and when that dries up, you know, the striker's role is a very, very isolated and quite a lonely one. But ultimately, on the flip side of it, as a striker, you've got to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, and we haven't done that recently, and we need to really start kicking in.
Yeah, Beck's mentioned food 3 times there because it's on his mind. We've not eaten yet. That's where the order's in, isn't it? I wondered where that was going. Nigel, how much did you enjoy the night games in particular at Elland Road when you were here?
Yeah, it's a completely different atmosphere.
Why though? Why does it feel so different?
I guess it's because it's dark and you know, people have been to work and they're excited. You know, the crowd's always excited. Night games, it always had so much more atmosphere for that reason. I guess because it's dark. That's the only thing I can think of. But you know, it's a massive game tonight that the boys have really got to be up for.
Like I used to. What I think as well, on top of that, is people have been at work all day, haven't they? And they've been looking forward to it since they woke up the first thing in the morning. Is sometimes you go into a job that you don't really enjoy, but you're doing it to tick boxes and be able to pay your bills to come and do things like this. Come to the stadium. So you've been looking forward to it all day. The energy is building up, and you just look forward to it.
Yeah, OK. Well, we're going to hear from Gabriel very shortly. We're going to talk a little bit more about the team news, but 4 changes for Daniel Farke tonight. There was a little bit of talk about what he might do. We'll talk in depth about the changes in just a second, but Nigel, do you think it's right to freshen up the team after last week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's a positive thing to do. I think it's the right thing to do. Looking at it from a goalkeeper's perspective, I feel a little bit for Carl because I don't think he's really done anything wrong. You know, he seems to have done his job when he came in, but it's obviously now this is his number one. He's making his statement now. You know, I've bought this player as my number one goalkeeper, so I'm going to play him as my number one goalkeeper, which is going to be tough on Carl, but you know, it's up to Lucas now to come in and perform.
Yeah, okay. Perry, Biol, Okafor and Tanaka all in the starting lineup for this evening's game against West Ham. Just over 22 minutes to go until kick-off. Let's hear from one of the form men in the Leeds United team then. He's been sensational since his arrival in the summer. It's Gabriel Goodmanson with Brynlaw.
Well, Gabby, good to be back at Elland Road. Looking forward to the game tonight.
Oh yes, Elland Road is special. You know, we had some good performances so far this season, but obviously we need a good result today.
There'd be some disappointment after the way the last game went. Are there things to put right there?
Of course. I think again, as I said, performance has been there. Of course, not the result. So you know, we need to use the crowd today.
West Ham have had a difficult start to the season. Can you use that at all, or is that not something that you're thinking about tonight?
Of course, a little bit as a promoted team, but again, you know, here in Elland Road is always special to play, and I think the away team knows that as well. So we just need to use the crowd, use the energy today, and I'm sure we're going to have a good result in the end.
Yeah, Gabriel Goodmanson there, fully focused on tonight's game, as you'd expect. He has been a real bright spot this season, hasn't he, Nigel? I mean, you know, he's one of the players who really came away even from Turf Moor last week, taking a lot of credit. He's brought a lot, hasn't he, to the team?
He has. He's competitive. You know, he's shown that he wants to get stuck in every game that he's involved in. You know, he gets forward a lot. He gets his tackles in. Just the sort of fullback Leeds fans absolutely love. You know, somebody that can get stuck in and really show that they want to win the game.
Yeah, and left back has been a problem position for us in recent years, so it's good to sort of see that solved. Let's talk about some of the changes then to the team tonight. As I mentioned, 4 changes for Daniel Farke's side. Good news that Okafor is fit enough to start, because he was just getting going, wasn't he, before this injury. Be interesting to see how fit he is, but obviously he's been past fit enough to start. That's a real bonus, isn't it, Bex?
Of course it is. Listen, he's one of those players that's really exciting. When he picks the ball up, his first thought is positive. Can I get forward? Can I get beyond the defender? Can I take him on? If not, he's always looking to pass it into feet or get a nice early cross into Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. He's a great outlet. So under pressure, he's quite decent when the ball's been pinged up to him to get the ball under control, squeeze the game up a little bit. But ultimately, look, he's one of those players that can change the game in a blink of an eye. So I'm looking forward to it. And there were 1 or 2 concerns possibly over his whether he's going to be fit or not for today. We've got a pretty strong bench as well. So even if he lasts 45, 60, 70 minutes, we've got a very, very good replacement in Dan James that's on the bench, ready and waiting as well. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can give us for the first hour.
That change, Nigel, probably is an easy one for the manager to make when Okafor's fit. He comes in. You mentioned the goalkeeping change. That's a little bit more difficult, isn't it? Obviously, we spent big money on Lucas Perry. He's come in with the expectation that he's going to be the number one. He's had this injury. Caldola's performed well. That's a difficult one for the manager, isn't it? It's a brutal position, as you know.
It is. I mean, that is hard. Yeah, I mean, he spent the money. Daniel Farke spent the money. It's his signing, so he has to put faith in that player. You know, he's had a couple of clean sheets. You know, he didn't do. You know, he started the season really well, apart from the Arsenal game, obviously. But you know, the clean sheets at home, you know, was important. So you know, I don't think there's any problem with putting him back in. But I think it's now firmly established who the number 1 and number 2 goalkeepers are.
Yeah, and Beale in a similar situation to Perry in a way. He's had to wait even longer to get his chance in the Premier League for us. Came with a big reputation, and again, maybe a bit unfortunate that Pascal Stroik's the one to miss out, but you kind of did always feel at some point he was going to get his chance, Beale, wasn't he?
Yeah. Look, again, touching on what Nigel said there, he's one of those players that the gaffer brought in, and as long as he's fully fit, he's going to play. The last couple of results have kind of made the manager think, right, well, a couple of wholesale changes need to be made. He's made 4 changes today, and you know, Beale's going to look at that and say, right, well, I've been extremely frustrated not to have been your number 1 pick Now I'm going to show you why I should be your #1 pick from here moving forward.
I think the first goal against Burnley, isn't it? You know, it's a free header in the middle of the 6-yard box. You know, where you want your centre halves to be. I mean, it wasn't a good goal all round. You know, start with a throw in, only one man goes out. It should be two. You know, the quality of the cross was obviously brilliant because he was under no pressure. And a free header, so he's going to make changes, based on around probably that goal.
I suppose on the back of a defeat, it's easier for the players to accept those changes. It's never easy for a player to accept they're out of the team, but slightly easier in that sense. Do you think?
Yeah, you can understand it. Look, we've conceded a couple of goals in the last 2 games, so defensively, you're going to be asked questions. We've not scored enough goals. There's going to be questions there as well. So yes, it's much easier to make those changes when you have lost the games. So, being at home where we've got a very, very good record, you would like to think that with the crowd behind us, it will give the players that extra little bit of a boost as well, on top of the new players coming in. And we're up against the team who have had the worst start in their history in the Premier League. So, there is that as well. There's another point to prove. We're a newly promoted side. We want to make sure that we create as much space between the relegation zone and us currently. West Ham being, where are they, second bottom in the relegation zone at the moment. We're going to try and make sure they stay where they are and we get as far away from that position as possible. So we need to make sure we turn up today and keep a clean sheet, hopefully, but also on the flip side, get as many goals as possible. Try and fill your boots, get the confidence up.
Bex is confident, like it. We'll talk a little bit more about West Ham on the way, but let's hear from our commentary team tonight. It's Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo.
Well, here we are in the tunnel, gearing up for what looks like another important game for Leeds United with West Ham the visitors. And there's lots to talk about in terms of the team, Tony.
There certainly is, yes, plenty of changes. So the first one is Perry has come in for Darlow. And then the unfortunate Strauch, who has been under the weather with some illness, Gabriel gets his start. And then Anton Stack is on the bench, and Tanaka has come in for him. And Okafor as well is now back playing fit. His adductor injury seems okay. So it is a much changed side, but it's still, I think, really important that it's about the West Ham. It's playing against them, a team that is below us. Not losing is one thing, and then putting on a performance. We perform at the right level, we win this game. But with new players or not, whoever gets out there, on they go. So
what's required from those who are coming into the team? What's the element that they need to bring with them?
Well, I think always when you're in a squad situation, you get your chance. You've got to grab it. Grab it with 2 hands and say, you know what, you can't drop me because of my performances. And that's what they'll be thinking. Jacobillo, for instance, we know come for a lot of money, really, really good player. He's had to be patient and patient and patient. He's not used to that. He's normally that #1 starter. Now he's got his chance. I expect a really good performance from him. But everyone in the squad should be thinking, well, who's behind me? Who wants my spot? And get out there and perform.
Big night for Tanaka as well, I think, in many ways, isn't it? As he gets a chance to start and shows what he can do from the beginning.
It is. I think we know what he can do. We know he can bring a lot to the party. He's great and composed in possession. And I think now at home especially, I think we probably need that bit more of an attacking threat and composure against the West Ham side who, let's face it, are having a barren run. They're having a tough time, performing badly. We will have a lot of the ball. Tanaka, I think, could be instrumental.
There's expectation around this home fixture tonight, isn't there? That brings its own pressure, perhaps.
It does, and it's funny. As a player, I was thinking, what would I be thinking in that dressing room? And you know what? Let's beat what's in front of me. Let's make it really difficult for the opposition. This is a team we want to keep down there. So I'd be really looking forward to it. As a pundit and as everyone on the outside, this is a big game. It's gigantic, but keep calm. Keep calm. The boys, they play at the right level. They get the game won. It's as simple as that, but they have to perform.
Stay calm. There you go. Simple message. We'll see.
Yeah, keep calm and carry on there from Tony DeRigo. I mean, it is simple to say it. We're all sat here going, go out there, play the game, not the occasion, all that kind of stuff. But this is the Premier League for you, isn't it? Like every game, especially for a newly promoted team, feels monumental, doesn't it, Nigel? It feels huge.
It does, but it is go out there and do your job. If you're a winger, take people on, get beyond them, get crosses, link up with your striker. If you're a striker, get your shots away, get good movement in the box. Midfielders get stuck in, win the ball, give it to the more talented players to create. and defensively just be strong and stop any chances happening. And play on the front foot tonight, start really quickly, really get into West Ham right from the start is what I'd be wanting, for sure.
Will Tanaka help do that, Bex? Because again, at the start of the season, you'd have said, well, Tanaka's a certainty to start football games for Leeds United, but Stacker's done very well. He's obviously had this little bit of a problem that he's been playing with, that Daniel Farke said. Longstaff's been great. Ampadu's your captain. Yep. Tanaka's chance tonight to really sort of take the game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. One of the things that I really, really enjoy and appreciate about Tanaka is the way he's so composed and relaxed in and out of possession. The positions that he picks up, when he wins the ball back, his first thought is, right, I'm going to give it to a creative player or one of the players that have got the explosive pace on the wings that can cause problems to the opposition. He's found himself in a very unfortunate position in that the players that you just named there have been brilliant since they've come in. Nobody's really had a bad game, so to speak, where we spoke about it before, where the manager's going to be like, right, well, I'm going to have to take you out, and it's an easy decision. It's not. Every decision's been difficult, but then that shows how good the recruitment has been in that position. So it's a like for like. We're not losing out on any quality in terms of the personnel that's coming in, that's going out, which fills us fans with a lot of optimism. We saw how good he was last season. He was absolutely phenomenal, and he'll be another one of those players that have just been brought in that would be chomping at the bit. I can't believe you've left me out, Gaffer. I'm going to show you why I should be number one. And look, it's one of those things that happened with Meslier a few years ago. The reason he became number one was because the goalkeeper before him got injured. He had an opportunity. He took his opportunity, and now it's Tanaka's turn.
He's got to play that conductor role, hasn't he? He's got to get the ball, give it, and really take control of that whole midfield. It's an opportunity for him tonight to do that. And if he can do that, the team will perform a lot better.
Yeah, two sides to the game that are causing probably Daniel Farke a few headaches, and we'll talk about them just briefly. But defence and attack. Nigel, we'll come to you on the defence for obvious reasons, but we conceded quite a few goals this season. I think we're 16th or so for goals conceded. But in terms of XG against, it's one of the lowest in the league. So we're not giving away big chances, but we're still conceding goals from mistakes. How do you switch off, or how do you stop players switching off or maybe conceding the type of goals that we have been?
It's difficult because, you've had deflections, so they're not clear-cut chances that have been deflected in. You get the second Burnley goal, he's outside the box. It's a really good strike. There's not a lot you can do about those. The first Burnley goal, I think, is something that you should stop. I think the equaliser for Bournemouth in the last few minutes, I know I keep on about it, but taking Dominic off when we're about to, have a free kick in the last few, seconds of the game, when he's been involved and was heading everything away from that defensively, that I think is another one that could have been avoided. So there are ones that we can avoid, and then sometimes just because of the quality of the opposition, they're going to score goals from places where you're not expecting them to.
Okay, we'll come on to the attack in just a second, but we're going to hear from Daniel Farke, who's trying to solve all these conundrums, isn't he, week to week, and hopefully trying to mastermind 3 points tonight against West Ham.
Like always, I expect a difficult game. West Ham is a well-established Premier League side. They have high individual quality, many very experienced and quality players for this level in the offense and midfield. Also in the defense, they have with Nuno a very experienced coach on this level. And to be honest, I didn't like the last game on Monday that much, because after such a game, normally then they're even more spot on and will look under each every stone what they can improve. And it's always the same when you have a very experienced and quality coach, and you have also quality players, and these players make sure. I've also spoken after the game, come on, we have to deliver the basics. When they are switched on this moment, then you can tell that this team will show a good performance, and it will be difficult to beat them. And this is what I definitely expect. So I'd rather play against a team who is perhaps underestimating a newly promoted side. I think especially after last Monday, they will be pretty much on it. And still, West Ham a very, very experienced, established Premier League side. So I expect a difficult game for us. But nevertheless, yes, on this level, each every game is difficult, and we know that especially in home games, we have a good chance also to win some points. We've shown this more or less in each and every home game so far, and for that, we also don't go into this game with fear. We're looking forward to have this game and want to deliver a good performance and then hopefully also the right result. On this level, each and every game has pressure, and so far we've always spoken about a huge game. Everton, first game day, Wolves, Burnley, right now, huge game. So each and every game is huge. So for that, we are quite focused, quite relaxed, but we're looking forward to have this game because this is why we have worked our socks off in the last 24 months to have this evenings. Friday night evening, floodlights are on, full packed. Elland Road can't be better. So it's why we play this game and why we work so hard. We want to have these games, and yes, of course, we want also to reward ourselves with some points, but the first step is always like to respect the opponent, to make sure that we go well prepared into the game, then to execute our game plan in a proper way, to show really good performance, and then also to make sure that we're clinical enough in both boxes in order to give ourselves a chance to win as many points as possible. And this is also the same approach for this game.
Yeah, Daniel Farker there talking ahead of a kick-off, and tonight's fixture is the dedicated No Room for Racism fixture, and also our remembrance fixture at Elland Road, where servicemen and women will be remembered ahead of kick-off. So all of that to come. But final word from the guys in the studio in terms of like predictions, really. West Ham, we haven't had a chance to talk too much about West Ham, Nigel, but they're under pressure themselves. We're looking at the away section out there. They've got black balloons. They're protesting tonight against the ownership. That is not a happy club at the moment. Can we take advantage of it?
Well, we hope we can. That's the belief. You know, we were discussing sort of just off air there about, you know, they had a very good manager in David Moyes. You know, they won a European trophy. They were finishing in the top 10 every year, and teams want to then think they have to go to the next level, and you know, it's not an easy thing to do. And most teams that try to do that end up going back down. So they're in a bit of a hole at the moment, and hopefully it's a little bit deeper after tonight.
What kind of game do you expect, Jermaine?
Well, having seen obviously Leeds United and West Ham over the last few weeks, I expect a lot of the same in terms of the way we approach the game in comparison to the way West Ham do. West Ham have been quite sluggish, quite slow in the build-up.
They've only scored one first-half goal this season as well.
Exactly, but it's the overall gameplay is like very lethargic and quite. It's very slow. So if we can do exactly as Nigel said earlier, get on the front foot right from the beginning of the game, put them under immense pressure, keep that pressure on them, squeeze them into certain areas, and keep them high up the pitch. I think it would be a matter of time before they start to get frustrated and start to crumble confidence-wise, because they're at an all-time low anyway. We just need to pile on it.
Score predictions?
I hope we keep a clean sheet. I'm not sure we will. I'm going to say 3-1 to Leeds.
Okay, Nigel?
I'm going to go 2-0. I'll go with the optimistic one, and hopefully we do keep a clean sheet. You know, new goalie, he'll be wanting to do well, centre half as well. So 2-0.
Okay, fingers crossed. Teams in the tunnel just making their way out. So let's hand you over to our commentary team then. It's Tony Dorigo alongside Bryn Law.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, guys. Yeah, teams are ready to make their way out to the tunnel here. Friday night under the lights, crackling good atmosphere at Elland Road, as I'm sure you would anticipate. And as the teams emerge, the two captains carrying wreaths, that will be a part of the build-up to kick-off here. This is the designated remembrance fixture for Leeds United this season. So here